Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Evan Axelrod, and I'm one of the psychologists with Nicoletti-Flater Associates. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to our second video in our video education series. Hopefully you enjoyed the first video from Dr. Nicoletti. Tonight we'd like to take a little bit of a detour from talking about how to manage the phases of the COVID pandemic to give you a little bit of information about who exactly we are. There's a good chance if you're following this video series that you already are familiar with us and the work we do, but we're hoping to be able to get this information out to as large of an audience as possible. So to that end, we'd just like to let people know a little bit about who we are and a little bit of background about our company. So Nicoletti-Flater Associates is one of the foundational pillars in the field of police and public safety psychology in the United States. In addition to police and public safety psychology, we've also been highly involved in threat assessment and violent prevention intervention with really over 40 years of experience. Currently, we have a staff of over 20 people. Nicoletti-Flater Associates specializes in police and public safety psychology, employee assistance, organizational consultation, leadership development, crisis intervention, trauma recovery, wellness and resiliency, and violence prevention and intervention. We've provided assessment, consultation, intervention, and training services to more than 300 national corporations, government agencies, law enforcement agencies, fire departments, emergency medical agencies, security companies, schools, and religious institutions. And we've done this on multiple levels. We work on the local level, the national level, and even internationally in places such as Australia, the Amazon, and even Antarctica. Like I mentioned, Nicoletti-Flater Associates has a long history of providing services to law enforcement agencies, fire departments, and other first responders. And this work that we've done over the decades has allowed our staff really to develop a high level of cultural competency and understanding the unique stressors and challenges faced by public safety personnel and their families. And it's something that we really pride ourselves on at Nicoletti-Flater Associates. We also pride ourselves on the fact that we have some of the most highly trained professional psychologists in the country. 3 of the psychologists on staff right now, including Dr. Nicoletti, are American Board and Professional Psychology certified specialists in police and public safety psychology. We also have 1 staff member who is a specialist in clinical psychology. Really among psychologists, the American Board certification signifies the highest level of advanced certification available in the field of psychology in which we practice. ABAP, or the American Board of Professional Psychology, has been around for more than 60 years and provides board certifications through credential review, competency-based written, and examination processes. So really, when someone has the designation of a board certified specialist, it really does indicate that they have the highest level of training of a psychologist in their particular area of practice. Nicoletti-Flater Associates over the years has also been an integral part in the development of training programs and implementation of training programs for public safety agencies and other entities. For example, we've been an integral part of the crisis intervention team training for law enforcement, and we've really been a part of it since its inception in Colorado. We've also developed several innovative trauma response and disaster management programs, while also being a leader in the development of training of peer support programs for public safety professionals. In fact, 3 of our trainings have previously been certified by the Colorado Police Officer Standards and Training Program, including our 40-hour law enforcement officer peer support training, a program that worked on preventing police officer suicides, and a pre-retirement training program. Most recently, Nicoletti-Flater has been working on and has developed a uniquely innovative approach to organizational wellness and resiliency known as our AWARE program. Nicoletti-Flater Associates staff, in addition to being highly trained, also works to maintain professional relationships throughout the field of psychology by being involved in a number of professional organizations. Most of our staff belongs to the International Association of Chiefs of Police. We've had several staff members serve on the executive board of that committee. We have folks belong to the American Psychological Association, the Colorado Psychological Association, the Association of Threat Assessment Professionals, the American Academy of Experts in Traumatic Stress, APA Division 18. We have staff members who belong to the Fire Service Psychology Association, the National Sheriff's Association, Public Safety Peer Support Association, and the Society for Police and Criminal Psychology, just to name a few. There's many other organizations that we belong to as well. Looking specifically at Dr. Nicoletti, he's been recognized as a national expert in police and public safety psychology, violence risk assessment, workplace and school-place violence prevention and intervention, and crisis and intervention and trauma recovery. He's authored several books over the years related to violence prevention, including Violence Goes to Work, Violence Goes to School, and Violence Goes to College. He's also been appointed to numerous special appointments and task force over the years. In 2014, he was appointed to the Governor's Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Task Force. Also in 2014, he was appointed to the Department of Justice and NAMI's Task Force for dealing with officer mental health and mass casualty events. Since 2001, he's been part of the Colorado Governor's Task Force on Bioterrorism. Recently, he's been working with the Police Executive Research Forum on a program examining suicide by cop. He's been part of the NATO and Harvard Counterterrorism Coalition, and he's worked with the NSA on managing insider threats. In addition to what Dr. Nicoletti does, many of our staff get involved in special programs and committees, some dealing with military issues, some dealing with other PERF-related programs. In 2016, I had the opportunity to be one of two police and public safety psychologist representatives at the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services and PERFs meeting for the President's Task Force on Hiring 21st Century Law Enforcement Officers. We also really take an active role in trying to train the next generations of psychologists. For example, I'm currently an adjunct professor at the University of Denver teaching trauma and crisis intervention to graduate psychology students. Over the years, our staff has been involved in numerous high-profile situations. Unfortunately, in Colorado, we know we've been exposed to many school shootings, so our staff has worked on the Columbine shooting, the Aurora Theater shooting, the Arapahoe High School shooting, the Platte Canyon shooting. We've also things done on a more national and international level, working with first responders from September 11th. We worked with folks involved in the Mumbai terrorist attack, the Navy Yard shooting, the Delphin cruise ship pirate attack. We unfortunately have done a lot of work with line of duty deaths. We've also done response to hurricane and earthquake related trauma. We've done work with the Newtown shooting and the Las Vegas shooting. We did some work on supporting law enforcement through the Occupy Wall Street movement. And of course, most recently, as you're aware, we've been working with first responders on managing the COVID pandemic. As I mentioned earlier, we do have some of the most highly trained staff in the country. And on our staff, we have people who specialize in substance abuse treatment. We have certified EMDR therapists. We have former police officers, former federal agents, past military personnel, so veterans. We have people who specialize in dealing with mass casualty events. We have emotionally focused therapists. We have people who are involved in preventing and countering violence extremism. We have specialists in peak performance in sports and performance psychology, military psychology, forensic psychology, and even geropsychology. In addition to the specialty training we do try to stay involved in the policy development for the areas in which we work in terms of trauma, of course, police and public safety, psychology, and what have you. Many of our staff over the years have been involved in working on helping develop best practice guidelines for things like pre-employment psychological screening, psychological fitness for duty evaluations, officer-involved shooting guidelines, and peer support guidelines. We also academically try to challenge ourselves and put new content out there. Many of our staff over the years have authored either books, articles, or book chapters on topics such as psychological issues in policing, assessing the psychological suitability of candidates for public safety positions, development and use of employee assistance programs, violence risk assessment, stress management, trauma management, disaster management, and trauma recovery. Another thing that I would really like to mention is that Nicoletti-Flater Associates is proud to be the only locally founded, owned, and operated police and public safety psychology and threat assessment organization in the state of Colorado. Dr. Nicoletti is a Colorado native, and went to Lincoln High School. I'm actually a Colorado native as well, and went to East High School. Dr. Nicoletti had a brother who retired as a captain with the Denver Police Department and was head of the crime lab. And so our history and connection with the local community in Denver and in Colorado as a whole runs very deep, and it's something we're proud of. Of course, we're proud of the national, international work we do, but in our hearts, we're proud to be Colorado, again, Colorado founded, owned, and operated. So hopefully this was helpful as just a brief overview of who we are. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can definitely check out all of our social media or our website. You can look at our website at www.NicolettiFlater.com or www.traumathreatandpublicsafetypsychology.com. Of course, as you watch this video, it'd be great if you could subscribe to our channel to catch all of our future videos. In the next day or so, we'll be posting another video looking at phase 2 of responding to the COVID pandemic. So like and subscribe. And of course, we hope all of you are staying healthy and safe. Take care.